Welcome, welcome to today's episode. And I'm very excited for my guest today, Nancy Jasin Ensley. So I hope I pronounced it right. Welcome, Nancy.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me, Sabine. And hello, everyone.
You listened to some of the episodes prior.
Yes. I see some of your guests were very open to kind of show the bumps and the mountains and valleys in their lives. And I think that connects with people so much. Being a nurse, I totally understand that when you're willing to listen, rather than just hear, listen is different, where you're actually involved in the conversation and you allow that person to open the doors that perhaps are partially closed. So I love that. I love that. There are a few other podcasts I've been on where I was hesitant maybe to kind of open those doors. And then all of a sudden I just had a feeling that I needed to do that. Either a question someone asked, the look on your face, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
thank you that you shared this, because that also tells us that, yes, we are here for a reason. Podcasts exist for a reason. And even if it makes a difference in one person's lives, or maybe open a door. You said sometimes it can be a phrase or anything that can make somebody's life better, right?
Yes, for sure.
So tell our audience, who is Nancy?
Who is Nancy? Nancy is an almost 85-year-old retired nurse, but nurses never really retire, because you become, if you open your door, people will say, oh my goodness, my back hurts. What should I do? Okay. So being a registered nurse has been amazing to me. I started out to be a doctor, and I've always wanted to be a doctor, and I've challenged doctors, so they know me very well. I'm also a grandmother, a great grandmother. I love being young with my little great grandkids. They laugh at me. They sometimes ask me questions, and I just love it because they want an answer.
Yes.
I also am an author. I started writing. I started reading when I was 4.5. I'll tell you that story later.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, my first writing was a poem for my mother on Mother's Day, and I was 7 years old, and I knew how sounds rhymed, so I wanted to rhyme, and it made me think about how the kind of love I had for a wonderful woman. Also, I've traveled all over the country and spoken at seminars, etc. I have had 3 businesses of my own with a partner. I also, I've been a compliance officer, a legal nurse consultant, etc., etc. I've been so blessed to have that. I have a wonderful husband. He's my 3rd one. I had to practice before I
love that. I have to say something. I have to say something to you, because for those who do not watch this on video and on my YouTube channel, just listen. You mentioned you are almost 85 years young. And let me tell you, I would have not guessed it. And you look so fabulous. And then you mentioned something that you love playing young with your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And this is, in my humble opinion, what really keeps us young. To stay with the young and be silly like the young and be that eternal kid forever. That, yes, I think, is one of the secrets of having a young and fulfilled life and being active. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yes, Sabine. You never know what you're going to learn from those kids.
Right.
After I wrote my memoir, and then I had a bad time in the middle of my life for about 5 years. I lost contact with my faith. I lost contact with my family. I gave in to a terrible addiction. God saved my life 3 times. He kept saying, I'm not done with you. I have something for you to do, and I want you to write.
So bring us back to that time.
Okay, I will. Outside of being PTSD and feeling abandoned as a child, I got professional help for that. I had been to a psychiatrist, and he found out that I had a very, very difficult life with my father. I never felt that I could please him. I always knew that I was going to, and I tried to rescue my mother when he would be aggressive to her. I was a rescuer. Okay. So I had to come out of that closet that was dark. I went to school. I went to be a doctor. I came home. My mother was very ill. I took on nursing temporarily so that when I could become a doctor, I would be nice to the nurses. But I loved it so much, Sabine. I loved every part of nursing, from ICU, ER, to the floor, to nursing homes, everything. And that helped in my teaching as well. So, yes, I think I heard my God that I believe in. Everyone, you believe in something, a force, something that gets you through things. Sometimes you can't even identify it. And it doesn't have to have a name. And I think I heard God say to me so many times, no, you aren't giving up. I just had some things happen with my sister, and we had a long family meeting. And I write down my feelings, because all of a sudden there's a difference between what I'm thinking and what I actually need to do. And so I wrote this little phrase. I said, how many things can come into my life until my recovery is spent? And then I looked at it and I thought, that isn't me. I am not like that. I have too much to live for. So I said, how many good things can come into my life until my recovery is renewed? Mm-hmm. So my recovery from alcoholism and addiction has led me to be able to counsel women, young women, older women who have addiction problems. And that is a scientific addiction, a change in your brain when you introduce it to those chemicals that doesn't happen to everyone else. 42 years of sobriety, God said no again. I remember I was in renal failure. I was very sick. I had 100 pounds, and my kids, we had lost our home. I had lost the love of my kids. My 2 daughters were with me. My son left and went to his father. I remember I had my job, believe it or not, as head nurse on neuro. And I don't know how I got through that. He said, oh, you're going to be able to do this because I have something for you to do with it later. And so many times he said no to me. This time I'll remember forever. You asked me what that moment was. I was in the bathroom. I was on my knees. I was begging him to let me drink. I wanted to die. And I heard this voice say, no, no, no. From that moment on, I met someone who was in a program that has been an open door to my life in so many ways. I got my faith back. Thank God. I believe that I was able to forgive my father because God said, you're not going to carry this albatross. Hanging on to resentments and anger does nothing to change the things that happened. So get rid of that albatross, throw it away, and forgive. That doesn't mean you condone what happened and that you absolutely don't have to have help for it. Right. Just forget. Just say, write a letter. You don't have to send it. Just write.
It's so true. It's so true. The forgiveness is not so much for them. We forgive them, but rather than releasing that for us. We are forgiving ourselves for holding on to it. So you mentioned you were on your knees. So what got you to that point? Because sometimes we see something or the darkest point in our lives. We have an epiphany in this case. What got you to that point that you became an alcoholic, that you were, losing children, or they didn't want to be with you? So what happened to that point, to that nurse that is doing the job that she loves to do?
The morning before that occurred in the evening when I was on my knees. I thought I had lost my faith. I thought God was not looking at me. He thought I was so bad. And what I remember was on the I had a frame, something in the frame, and it was a serenity prayer in the frame. And I looked up. That's when I thought I heard that noise. I looked up and I saw, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I don't know whether I surmised that I heard him say, listen, you'll never be perfect. You can't be perfect. You have a job, but you're going to lose it. And you have a life that you're going to lose. And somehow I got up and I made a call to someone I trusted. We all need people that we trust. As you get older, sometimes you have to be very careful on who you trust with very, very personal things. I write down, forgive, accept what you are, what you're doing, what you can do about it, and get the people or the professionals that you need to get help, and then listen to them. Of times people do get counseling and get help for their failures, but don't listen for the process that you have to continue with in order to keep that way.
You had 3 businesses. What did you do or made you decide to start your own business from being a nurse at the hospital?
I had a neighbor. She had a survival process where people got that had mastectomies get measured for bras and all of those things, all kinds of survival. And she asked me to come and volunteer there. I had one of my, I retired 3 times. I never give up. So I kept going back. I was 73 when I actually officially retired. But anyhow, she said, can you come and volunteer and help with the people here? So I said, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. So I did. And I volunteered with her. She was losing her business. It was very hard to get the insurance companies to pay for the materials that are needed. And I was going for my master's in health administration, trying to make sure that someday we fixed the healthcare system.
Good luck.
Okay, good luck on that one. Yes. And my whole family is in healthcare somehow, and we're trying to fix it. It almost got fixed in the 60s, it almost did. Well, anyhow, so I did that, and I helped her with her ability to not be bankrupt. Somehow I had enough business sense taught in my master's that would help. And so we got through that. She says, let's start a business for compression stockings, because lymphedema is a very, very big condition that people can have. I said, oh, okay, I don't know. I had learned how to measure for the stockings. So we started a compression stocking business. When we were in it for about 5 years, trying to get Medicare to cover those things, we could not do that. So we had to leave that. Okay. We are still friends. And the next business, I had a friend who was in a urology practice for a while, and she was a consultant, the only female consultant in a big consulting business. Very, very strong woman, very, very, just amazing, brilliant with business. So she said, let's start a business to help physicians start their practice, get them certified, all of those things. She said, we can go to hospitals and do audits and, all that. I said, okay, why not? Okay, let's do that. So we learned how to do that. We had that for about 8 years. We went all over the country. Physicians do not get business courses in their residency. They are so exhausted. And a lot of times it's very hard for them to run their business, and they can't afford to hire someone who has that expertise in their practices. So that's a difficulty in healthcare. We were in that for about 8 years. I got a call from hospice, and they said, we need a compliance officer to come and do audits in order for us to keep our contract. And I said, well, I have that certificate. We can do that for you. My partner, she was going through something, so we dissolved that business. It was exciting. And I went as a consultant to hospice of Northwest Ohio, a big one here, a wonderful one. And I knew about hospice, but I didn't really get that amazing part of our life. Dying is part of our life. We are all going to do it. We got a whole bunch of people that are going to go through it in many iterations of it. I came in as the compliance officer to do audits, and they said, "Oh, don't say anything to her. Don't." And I thought, no, I want them to know that I want to know about hospice. So I volunteered at night to be an aide, unpaid, to take care of patients and to see what I could see. And Sabine, I saw miracles. I saw people inviting someone in the room when they're in a coma, saying their name, reaching out for someone. People hanging on to life for so long that you think, oh my goodness, how can someone die that long? Until they get a phone call from their granddaughter and take 2 breaths and go to sleep. There's a transition point in dying. There is a pulling from this life and a pulling from whatever that energy is going to go. Energy doesn't die. So we're a bunch of chemicals, positive and negatives, that doesn't die.
Yeah.
And so I looked at death as part of life.
Yeah, I love that. I love that we all are going to be faced at one point or another with that part of life.
Yes.
So tell us one of the miracles you already shared. Was there something else that was like an aha moment for you, or something that was like, wow, I did not expect that?
Yes. There are several, but there was a gentleman. He was in the armed services when we had a blizzard in the 76. It took our whole life and changed it. He was running that. He ran that. He was now in hospice, and he had 2 daughters. He had a 3rd daughter, but she didn't come. There was a balloon that they hung on his bed, and I said, he can hear you. Hearing is still there. He may not respond, but till the very, very end, he can hear you. And the 2 sisters were always fighting. They were, Dad, stay. Dad, you've got to stay. You're a corporal. You have to stay. And arguing about whether he should stay in hospice or take him home or what we're going to do with him. There was a balloon up there that said, I love you. And that was supposed to represent their mother, who had passed away for a long time. Mm-hmm. All right. They're arguing. I said, he can hear you arguing. And he was restless in that stage. I said, let's calm down. And so they said, okay, Dad, okay. And they're crying. They said, if you have to go, I guess you can go. The balloon, my goodness, his wife, their mother, the balloon went down like this. No, nothing in the room would blow that down, and up like this. And the daughter said, Dad, they're having corned beef on corned beef, shit on a shingle is what they called it back then. They're having that tomorrow. You've got to stay till tomorrow. Mom wants you to stay. They thought that's what that meant. As soon as they said that, he took 2 breaths, opened his eyes, looked at the balloon, smiled, and died. They had never at this facility, the extended care facility, had corned beef on bread before. Guess what they had for lunch that next day? They came to me. I was busy with other clients, and they came to me. Oh, Nancy, they had shit on a shingle for lunch for Dad. And I said, I'll bet they did. So there's if we aren't quiet and take a quiet moment to reflect, meditate, whatever we do, take a drive, go get some coffee, take a walk, run, call somebody. If we don't take that moment, we won't hear the whispers that are there for us to hear.
Yes, so true. Yeah, being still and just listening. And as you said, oftentimes I go just for a walk, being out in nature and just having your mind not occupied with so many other things that come our ways every single moment in our lives or that daily lives. So yeah, I hear you. Wow, that's quite something. So if you could give someone who's listening, maybe is going through a stage right now that a loved one is in hospice or is about to go to hospice, what piece of advice could you give them?
I would say take a memory that identifies that person. I'll tell you, my mother was a concert pianist. She graduated from Juilliard School, and she was 15, the youngest. And she played the piano so wonderful. So she was dying. We were all around. This was at a home. She was in hospice. They had given her some medication. And I said, where can I play? It was Clair de Lune. It was a beautiful concerto by Brahms, by Mozart. And that was her favorite. And I had it on my phone. So I played it. And she was restless. And all of a sudden, I think take a memory and talk about that as if your mother or whoever it is, it might be something that she survived, something silly that she did. My mom would put us in a car and just go. She had wanderlust, and she would just go. And I said, okay, Mom, where are we going? Where are we going? Played the music. She put her arm up like she took a hand, probably her mother's, and smiled and went to sleep. So take a memory with you as if that person is there to have the conversation with you, and you have the conversation with them, and you will never forget it. And sometimes that's a way. It's very hard for someone to say, okay, Mom, go, just go. So instead of that, take that memory and let it just grow in that moment. And perhaps that's your way of getting through that. Even through a problem, when you're talking to someone, find a memory. Yeah. My sister has dementia. We are going through a horrible time with that. I'm losing someone I love so much. We've all been through it together. Instead of being the nurse, they want me to be the sister. So I go and I'm goofy, and we're goofy together, and we laugh together. And we can, for a moment, just put that disease aside and look at the person you love just the way you did when they didn't have that problem.
I know what you're going through. My mother-in-law, she had dementia. And in retrospect, I now know that it started way, way earlier, that we didn't even realize it then. And we just think, oh, this person, why is she so crazy all of a sudden? Why is she reacting this way? This was not her. She was the most compassionate and loving and warm person. Then all of a sudden there's like a withdrawal, and it's like, but you don't realize it.
Yes, yes. Your brain is amazing. Recently, my husband bought me a book. He knows I read constantly, and for $1. And it's the neuroscience book. It's very technical. I did not know, even after all the years of study and collaboration and watching patients, that the hippocampus, there's a part of your brain below your brain that has all of the electrical impulses. It constantly fires. The rest of your brain has to know where to take it, which one to take it, what to do with it, make a decision, let it go, all of that. And we only know about 47% of what this amazing dynamic, how it works. And so, yes, my sister gets very paranoid. She thought someone was coming in the house, stealing from an empty envelope. I said, honey, you went to the bank. The envelope is with your daughter-in-law. It's okay. Who came in your house that you did not know? And she said, well, just Jan and Paul, you, and she was saying who was there. And I said, anyone come in your house that you did not know? Did you leave the garage door open? Did you leave your door open? Did you go in the backyard where someone could come in? I said, let's write down what we need to do when we can't watch our house.
Yeah.
Not, oh, you're wrong.
Right.
I didn't want to do that. It's so hard to do that. And then she apologized all day long.
Yeah, by no means am a physicians or neuroscience whatsoever. I mean, it interests me from a perspective of how we can improve our lives, living our lives, and also how we can grow older and be still smart and alert. And one of the things that I know for sure, and I'm sharing it in my book, in my memoir called Gumption, which is going to be released in August 4th.
I get it. Oh, I love it.
Yes,
That's great.
Yes. So it's now available for pre-order. But what I am sharing in my book is how we can stay alert, how we can live the best life. And one factor, which is the first letter of Gumption, the G, is growth. Wow. If we stop growing, we stagnate, or in some cases, even reverse. We're going back. And so when growing means keep reading, keep doing things with your hands, because hands also connect to our brain. Writing things down, penmanship. Oh my gosh. Our new generation does not know how to write anymore. No. And this is super important to have that connection when you write something down to your brain rather than just typing.
Oh, I so agree. Write down your thoughts. I have journals everywhere.
And we have to take effort to do something like the exercise in the morning. I have a morning routine. I mix it up a little bit, but I always do some sort of movement. And even if it's just 5 minutes, if we move and listen maybe to a short meditation or podcast or anything that is other than looking at emails or your phone or whatnot, right? So yeah, yes. I totally get it.
Yeah. AI is taking over our brain. Yes. Didn't we all know phone numbers and addresses in our brain? Yes. Every once in a while, when I'm in the store, I add up in my brain the prices.
Yeah.
I don't have a clicker thing to do it for me. I don't do it on my phone. I have to add in my head six figures sometimes
Yeah.
just because I need to exercise your brain.
Right.
Do you sing? I sing. No, they tell me not to sing. I do not have a good voice. I go
Doesn't
ahead and
matter.
sing louder. I sing when I work, when I vacuum, I sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for some reason. It just comes. And so that's an exercise. I hope
Hmm.
we don't lose that. Yes, we do. AI is amazing.
I have a program and I teach entrepreneurs to work with their AI and create their quote unquote communication clone. So I'm a communication and confidence coach. That's what I
Wow.
teach, how we communicate better, our
Yes.
message, our service and whatnot. And yes, I use AI, but it's data driven. So you can use it in a way to save time and money in this case, because you don't have to pay a physical person. But you have to enter the right data. So in my communication clone, I added, so we create your voice profile, and you have to enter the data like recordings, anything you've done. My book is all there, all private, right? So I'm not sharing that. But now my AI knows how I speak, the warmth of my voice, and everything that it needs to write something for me. Now, when I
Yes.
write a newsletter, for example, I still tell my clone, hey, so this is what I would like to say in the newsletter. This is the experience that I have, because no AI can have your personal experience.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to talk about. And here is the connections I want to make to maybe a product or something, a call
Yeah.
to action. So I give my AI all of that. Then he goes through all the data that you have to do it once, only once. So it goes through my book, through my talks, through my courses, through my voice profile, through everything. So it's me multiplied or copied, and then the fantastic things. And I already have an outline. This is always how I do my newsletter, and then puts it together. Now, I am the one who reads through it. I'm the
Yeah.
one who corrects anything. So, no, this time I don't want to say this. I'm going to throw this out. Or, hey, let's do this a little bit different. I would like that to be this. That's it. But it would have taken me hours
Yes.
to write this, hours to do then social media posts from it or a blog post from it. That's how we can use AI, but never, ever let it take over your brain.
Yeah. No. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. That everyone should hear that. Everyone should. Because I all of a sudden, rainbow in December, there was a rainbow in
Yeah.
December.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I knew the ending. A lot of times I know the ending and then I enter the characters into the room and talk to them. And I have Gramercy and I have several iterations that will take my ending, beginning, my title, and process. Give me a process how that story should go. How long should I get the backstory for my characters? How long this? Okay, then I get this glop to look at and edit. And you can go through you know how many edits that you go through.
Yeah.
Put it away for a while. Maybe it was not a good day to review that. You had other things on your mind. Look at that. I I teach guided imagery. Before this podcast and during the podcast, you do not know that I'm at the beach, my favorite place. I'm walking in the sand. I'm hearing the birds. I'm hearing what you're saying because I need that peaceful moment.
Yeah.
And so I'm there. so easily to do that. You have to train yourself to do that.
Yes,
And
yes,
that gives
yes.
you the peace,
Yeah.
emptying your mind so that you can look at things. Yes. And AI should never, if you're a partner with someone else or something else, your partners have to be able to check on you, to give you advice, to change things, to maybe hold you in place. And you can't do that. If you give that up for the technology, all of a sudden you aren't there anymore. You're not the partner anymore. They've taken over. And I worry now, especially for the kids. I said, it's not a bad idea to put away your technology, take a walk, or write something. Everyone has a story. Everyone does. Just write
Yes.
how you feel. It's amazing. I tell my granddaughters, and one of them has anxiety. And I said, write down how you feel and look at that.
Yeah.
That's part of your story. And
Yeah.
I said, you don't have to publish it. You can hide it. You can do whatever you want, but it's amazing. You need to keep practicing.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
how I started writing my first diary was in my 20s, where I felt so alone and it was such a mess in my life. And and someone gave me that diary for my birthday. I still remember that. And I never wrote anything in it, but then I picked it up and then I started writing. And ever since, I have written in my diary. Sometimes, especially at the beginning, a long time, nothing, and then something. But since that year, I have a whole box full of diaries.
Oh, yes. Yes. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Writing poetry helps me. All of
Yeah.
a sudden, when I have to make it rhyme or make it make sense, like the tire swing, they say, why do you have that? And the tire swing has a little poem that all of a sudden came to me. This says, and it's very short, the tire swing hung from a tree. It beckoned them, come ride with me. The rubber seat would bruise your thigh, but no one cared when soaring high above the ground. Then touch the sky. If you pull and push, oh my, you may be brave enough to try to fly. Thus is life, the tire swing. It beckons us to do great things. Sometimes we soar, sometimes we fall. It makes us dizzy when we twirl out of control, but all in all, we have the choice to ride. And I said, that saved my life as a little girl, because I could go as high and I'd look to see if mom and dad were coming home. And when I was disappointed that low, I always tried to push again, because maybe I missed that moment. And you don't miss any moments in your life.
This
Just
could not be a better ending for this podcast episode. Thank you so much, Nancy, sharing your wisdom and being here today with our audience.
Thank you, Sabine. I loved this podcast. Love meeting you. Thank you so much.